whatever that means to you. You can sit up on a cushion, you can sit up on a block or a mat. You can sit your bum on the mat. Whatever you need to do. If you'd like to feel grounded today, I recommend placing your palms face down on your hands, on your knees. If you feel like you really need to reach towards the sky, you can always do palms up. Go ahead and close your eyes or lower your gaze. And just begin to bring your awareness to your breath. No need to change it or judge it. As you start to bring your focus towards your breath, see if you can let go of any thoughts or feelings or memories or anything that's racing through your head. And see if you can take that monkey brain and just focus on the breath. While you're focusing on that breath, you can check in with the rest of your body. Make your spine nice and long. Relax those knees down. Let go of any tension you have in your shoulder blades. Begin to deepen your breath. Go ahead and take your right hand. You can place your two peace fingers on your third eye between your eyebrows. Place your thumb over your right nostril and go ahead and inhale through that left nostril. Hold here. Cover up that opposite nostril, release that thumb, and exhale here. A nice gentle hold at the bottom of your exhale. And then inhale here. Switch nostrils, exhale out through the opposites. Hold here. Inhaling. Holding at the top of that breath. Closing the nostril, exhaling out through the opposites. Holding at the bottom. Inhaling here. Closing off that nostril and exhaling out through the opposite side. Holding at the bottom of this breath. Nice big inhale. Hold at the top of your inhale. And go ahead and release the opposite nostril and exhale out through the nostrils. Release your hands. Release your nose. Go ahead and notice your breath. See if it feels any different, any easier or more difficult from before. While you continue your long, slow breaths, I want you to imagine that white light above your head. Imagine inhaling it through your nostrils, going through your airways, into your lungs, expanding into your chest, going out to all your extremities. And while that light is bathing your entire body, I want you to imagine from each extremity backwards, all the bad things, all the pain, all the soreness, all the feelings, all the thoughts, just exhaling out through your lungs. One more like that, inhaling everything positive and bright you can think of. Maybe sending some healing breath to those sore muscles. Really visualize exhaling out all that pain and soreness. And when you've gone through a few breaths like that on your own, you can start to raise your gaze or open your eyes. And we'll start by placing our feet out in front of us. Remove any props you may have, give your legs a little shake, maybe flex those feet up. I lied. Okay, and now we're gonna bring the tops of the feet together. You can have your heels be as close to your thighs or far away as is comfortable, but I really do want you to grab either your calves, ankles, or feet, whatever's most comfortable for you. So if you do want to place your feet up maybe a little further out and grab your calves, that's fine. Want to make a nice straight spine with your back again, folding slightly forward, grabbing onto those feet or calf or ankle for a bound angle pose. If you have any soreness or maybe wiggling in your knees, you can always put something underneath to support them. Nice long spine, folding forward, feeling that closed circuit by bringing our hands to our feet. Any of that light that was previously going through our body has nowhere to escape now. When it reaches the end of one of our extremities, it goes into the next. See if on an exhale, you can maybe slightly fold, maybe a millimeter further forward. And when you're ready, you can release your hands from your legs, release your spine nice and tall. And we're gonna bring those legs out in front of us again, give a little shake in your knees, maybe a little flexing with your feet and straighten it. And we'll bring one of our thighs in nice and tight. This is gonna be so confusing, but it's gonna be great. Okay, we're gonna do our bound. And even remount writing forward fold. Okay, bound forward fold. So take your same arm as leg and reach behind. Place that forearm in front of your shin. Take your opposite arm and reach for that hand. If it slides over like mine does, no big deal. If you have a strap or a t-shirt or anything that can maybe help you grab, but you're essentially making, oh my goodness, a closed circuit with your arms here. Trying to fold forward, but also really pushing this leg away from you. Breathing here. If your hands don't touch, again, you can place this opposite arm in the hip crease. That's always a half bind option. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and release here, and we'll go into our bound twist. So keeping that same leg bent, you can twist your body backwards. And let's see if you can't reach that opposite hip crease with the same leg as hand. This arm can go underneath your leg if you'd like. Can go over top of it. We're not reaching our arms together now, just reaching toward our hip creases. If you'd like, you can lift that front arm and hook it on that knee and come into a twist, placing that hand back behind you. Breathing here. And release towards the front. Grab that knee nice and tight again. We'll bring it forward, give your knees a little shake, and we'll bring the opposite one nice and close to your chest. Again, from here, we'll do a bound forward, seated forward fold. Bringing the same arm as leg back behind you, reaching for that hip crease. I said that wrong, didn't I? Yes, I sure did. Bring this arm. We're gonna grab. I just can't do it, can I? No, I did that right. Okay, yep, there we go. Ah, take your opposite arm as hand, reach behind, grab that hip crease. If you're happy here, stay. If you're not, forward fold, reach your arm forward, grab that leg, and reach towards your opposite hand. Again, you can grab a strap if you'd like, or you can just place your hand in your hip crease. Keeping your spine nice and long here, keeping that foot flexed. When you're ready, you can release your arms and we'll come into our bound twist. Reaching your opposite arm towards your hip crease. We can take this one behind, reaching towards your elbow, or you can grab your knee towards you, whichever you prefer. Breathing here. If you'd like to place that hand behind you, reach your knee back, or reach your elbow back behind your knee and go into our twist. Go ahead. Breathing here. And on your next exhale, you can come into a little counter twist to the other side. Come back to center. Extend your knees out, give them a little shake. We're going to come into hero's pose, which is basically sitting up on our shins. Feet are going to be flat on the floor. A normal hero's pose, we would tuck your toes under. You don't need to do that. You can keep your feet flat on the floor here. And we're going to do 2 binds with our arms. First, eagle arms. So reach out in either direction, nice and stretch real long. If you're not comfortable with this, you can always cross your legs. I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention that. Breathing here, checking in with those ribs, not poking them out. We're going to take our left arm over top the right, cross at the elbows, bring either the back of the hands together or the palms together. Breathing here in eagle arms. Imagine you're bringing your elbows towards me, away from your body. See if you can feel that in your back of your shoulder blades. Opening up nice and wide. And yes, inhale, we'll make nice big arms again. Nice and wide. Again, check in with those ribs. Make sure your stretch is coming from your arm. We'll put the opposite arm on top this time. Crossing at the elbows, grabbing either the back of the hands together or the palms. Reaching those elbows forward. Feeling the back of the shoulder blades opening up here. When you're ready, you can release your arms down, give your shoulders a little shake out. And we'll lift both arms into the air. Bending that left arm, you can place that right arm on the elbow, press it down the small of the back. Again, checking in with those ribs, pressing those down. Option to reach behind you with your opposite arm and come into the bind that way, reaching for your hands. If your hands touch and your ribs stick out, pull your fingers away a little bit and let those ribs pop back in. Feeling the stretch in that upper arm. Breathing here. And when you're ready, you can release your arms and rotate them back up into the air. Again, checking in with those ribs, pressing the opposite elbow down, hand reaching down the back. Option to grab behind you, reaching for that bind. Being very mindful of those ribs, not letting them stick out. If they are sticking out, just backing those fingers away from each other a little bit and giving yourself room to pull those in. And when you're ready, you can release your arms down, give your shoulders a little shake out, and it'll meet you in tabletop pose. Coming into tabletop, keeping the wrists underneath the elbows, underneath the shoulders, knees under your hips, tops of the feet can be placed on the mat. And we'll come into our cat-cows. Dropping your udder down, breathing in, shining that chest forward for cow pose. Exhaling, rounding in the back, option to tuck the toes under and come up on your finger pads for cat pose. Exhaling all your breath. Inhaling into cow. In your cow, nod your head yes, shake your head no, move your head I don't know. Check in with that neck. Exhaling into the cat, do the same, nodding, shaking your head, moving back and forth, side to side. Inhale, cow pose. Exhaling, cat. Inhaling, cow. Exhaling, cat. And start to do this movement at your own pace and your own breath, doing what feels nice in your body. If you'd like, you can introduce S and C curves into your spine. You can come up for a chaturanga or back into child's pose. Just waking up that spine. And when you're ready, we'll come back to a nice neutral tabletop. Lifting your left arm in the air for the twist. From here, option to rotate that arm down, reaching for that hip crease, placing your fingers in your hip crease. Checking in with those hips. See if you can make them see if they feel square. Really twisting from your midsection, pulling those shoulders back in space. From here, you can release your hand into the air and we'll thread the needle through, bringing the outside of the shoulder down to the mat. Option to reach out the fingers on opposite foot. Breathing in. Bringing your hand and knee in, coming back into that beautiful twist. And placing your hand back down to the mat. Lifting that right arm into space. Ooh. Into your twist. Option to rotate it back. Bring it into that hip crease. You can help it if you need to. Just be gentle, not too rough. Release, making sure those feet have equal weight in the mat. Twisting with the midsection, feeling those shoulders pulling back, keeping those hips square. You can release your arm and bring that arm through, threading that needle and placing the outside of the shoulder onto the mat. Option to reach the leg back and fingers forward for a nice, just gentle stretch. When you're ready, you can bring your hand and leg back to the mat and come into a tabletop pose. From here, you can tuck your toes under and press those knees into the sky to come into a downward facing dog. Again, check in with your neck. You can nod your head yes, you can shake your head no, you can move your head I don't know. And you can start to pedal out through the feet here. Your feet can be hips width distance apart or closer or far apart if you're more comfortable. On your next inhale, let's lift the heels into space and exhale, bring them back down to the mat. From here, you can lift your right arm into the air. Option to come into rock star or option to bend that arm back, find your hip crease and come into a gentle bind in downward facing dog. On your next exhale, you can release back down to down dog, pedal out through your feet. We're gonna roll forward to plank pose. Breathing in plank. Option to drop your knees here. We're gonna bring our forearms down to the mat for our forearm plank. Option to interlace your hands here, or just keep your fists close together. Or if you prefer parallel, that's fine too. Come back up on your toes. Come into this lovely forearm plank. And when you're ready, you can drop your knees. You can come back to your hands. Come back, bring your toes back up to a plank pose. You can come into a side plank many ways. If you'd like a little support, you can always drop that right foot down, bring that left arm up, and come into a side plank. If you feel like you don't need the support, and you'd like your leg up, you can always come into an actual side plank. Your arm can lift into the air, and if you'd like, come back behind you, maybe grab your t-shirt. And when you're ready, you can bring that hand back down to the mat. Come back into a tabletop. And then back into your plank. Again, if you'd like to put your leg down for some support and then come into your side plank, you're more than welcome. If you feel you did your support to come into your side plank, but now you're ready to come into a full side plank, go ahead. You can always play with this top arm and grabbing back behind you to open up that shoulder. And when you're ready, you can bring your hand back down to the mat, coming into plank pose and pushing back to downward facing dog. Breathing in down dog or in child's pose, whichever you find more restful. And when you're ready, we'll hop or step forwards or a forward fold at the front of the mat. You have two options for binding in your forward fold. Option one is to interlace your hands back behind you. Option two is to go ahead and grab your legs, just like a nice gentle hug. Option 2B is to actually reach your hands underneath your thighs and try to grab your, I can't do that one, so we're just gonna do a gentle hug. When Your next inhale, we're gonna gently roll up the stand, placing each vertebrae of the spine onto the previous one. Taking a nice breath of fresh air at the top of your stance. And then checking in with the bottom of the feet, making sure all four corners of the feet are touching the mat. Feel nice and sturdy and secure in your stance. Inhale your arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold forward. Maybe you can hug the back of the leg this time. Placing your hands on your shins, inhaling into a nice long flat back. Exhaling to plant your hands and step back to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, coming into a low cobra or upward facing dog, and pressing back to down dog. On your next exhale, hopping or stepping forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling to gently roll up the stand. All right, 4 more like that. Inhaling the arms up into the air. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale to plant your hands, stepping back to plank pose, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhaling, pressing back to down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale here to place your hands on your shins. Nice long flat back. Exhaling again into your forward fold. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Exhaling in your standing position. Again, checking in with the mat and the bottoms of the feet. And we'll go ahead and inhale the arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat, inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and exhaling for down dog. On your next exhale, you can hop or step, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward and inhaling to gently roll up the stand. Release your hands to either side. Inhaling your arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to press back to down. On your next exhale, you can hop or step, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward and inhaling to gently roll up the stand. We'll do 1 more like that. Inhaling your arms into the air. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, folding forward, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to press back to downward facing dog. Breathing here. Next, exhale, you can hop or step forward through a forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling your hands on your shins, nice long flat back. Exhaling to fold forward. And inhaling to gently roll up to stand. Release your arms to either side, give yourself a shake off, get a drink if you'd like. Okay. Oh. All right, coming into our flow, let's stand in mountain pose at the front of the mat, releasing the arms down. Inhale your hands into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. From here, you can heel toe your feet together if you'd like. Bending your knees, coming into chair pose. Breathing in chair, cow pose in the top of your spine, cat pose in the bottom. Breathing here. And folding forward. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for low cobra and exhaling for downward facing dog. Inhaling that right leg into the air, three-legged dog. Bend that knee, swing the foot forward, help it if you need to. Make sure you're in a nice sturdy stance. You're gonna rotate that back foot down. Go ahead and inhale your chest up for warrior one. Making sure that front knee is at a 90-degree angle. Making sure your hips are square to the front of the room. On your next exhale, release your hands down, interlace them behind your back, and come on down for humble warrior. You have the option here to release your bound hands. That, we'll call it our top hand. Our opposite hand is foot reaching for that hip crease. You can come the opposite over, so you're basically in a side angle pose, if you'd like. You don't have to. On your next inhale, we'll come back to warrior one. Exhale, freeing that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Go ahead and roll forward to plank. On your next exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra. And exhaling for a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, bring that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. Make sure you're in a nice sturdy stance. We'll rotate that back heel down and inhale the arms into the air for warrior one. Make sure you've got a nice 90-degree angle on that front knee. And that outer edge of that back foot is glued to the mat. On your next exhale, you can release your hands behind you, interlock your fingers back behind you, weird thumb on top, and release down to place high your shoulder at your knee. Release your hands, release your arms up, come back into warrior one. Exhale to frame that front foot, shift that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering the knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra and exhaling back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose, whichever you find most restful. When you're ready, you can hop or step forward. So you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. When you're ready, you can gently roll up the stand, placing each vertebrae on top of the other, and release your arms to the sides. All right. Standing in mountain pose at the front of the mat. Inhale your arms into the air. You can heel toe your feet together if you'd like, and we'll come into chair pose. Again, cat spine in that low back. Cow spine in that upper back. See if you can bring your hands to heart center, and we'll bring that right elbow to the outside of that left knee and come into a chair pose twist. On your next inhale, come back to chair pose, and we'll exhale to twist to the other side. On your next inhale, you can come back to chair pose. Exhale to fold forward and step back to plank pose, coming into your vinyasa. Lowering knees just and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog, and exhaling back to downward facing dog. Inhaling that right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Bending the knee, exhaling, bringing that foot up front, helping it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down, and we'll push up into warrior one. Coming down into humble warrior. Pushing out into warrior two. Go ahead and get that front knee a rest. We'll go forward and down and come into triangle pose. Bringing this arm in the air, we'll rotate it back, reaching for that hip crease. Go ahead and place it in there if you need to. Triangle half bind. If you'd like, you can take that opposite arm, reaching underneath your legs for that other hand. Keeping the legs straight. Again, if we bend that front knee, we're in side angle. Straighten that knee, we're in triangle. On your next inhale, we'll come back to warrior two. Exhale to windmill down, frame that front foot, kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Big inhale here. Exhale, rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees just and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, and exhale to press back to downward facing dog. Oh, I know. On your next inhale, you can lift your left leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend that knee, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down, make sure you got a nice sturdy stance here. And we'll inhale up to warrior one. Exhale down to humble warrior. Inhale out to warrior two. Straighten that leg. Come forward and down. And we'll come into triangle pose. Again, this arm up top, we can swing it down, reach for that hip crease, help it if you need to. Half bind, half triangle bind. You can always reach for your hand with the opposite arm, trying not to bend that front knee. Side angle pose, bent. Straight leg is triangle. You can always make your stance a little smaller. They'll help with the bind. On your next inhale, we'll come back to warrior two. Exhale to rotate your arms down and frame that front foot. Kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Inhaling to roll forward to plank. Exhale to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, and exhale to press back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose, whichever you find most restful. When you're ready, you can hop or step to a forward fold at the front of the mat. And on your next inhale, we'll gently roll up to stand. And release the hands to either side. Right, those two. Okay. Inhaling your arms up. Exhaling down to chair pose. Breathing in chair. Exhaling down. Come into a forward fold. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to press back to down dog. Breathing here. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing the foot forward. Help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down. And on your next inhale, you can come in to warrior one. You can exhale down to humble warrior. You can inhale out to triangle pose. Why, hello, Monty. You can straighten that front knee, come down and forward and down for triangle. Bringing that top arm down for your half bound triangle and reaching that opposite arm up to maybe try to get into a full bind. Being cognizant of that front knee, making sure my arm's not grabbing anything, by the way. I'm like 4 inches away from my fingers. On your next inhale, we'll come back to our warrior two. Exhaling here, coming into our warrior three. Again, you can kick up from here if you'd like. Trying to bring our hands behind you. Ooh, and interlacing them back behind you, which I find very terrifying. When you're ready to release the arms down, we'll come into a standing split, just reaching that back leg as high as you can. And to bind your standing split, all you gotta do is hug the back of that standing leg, which I also find terrifying. And when you're ready, you can release that back leg down, kick that front foot back to meet the back, and come into a downward facing dog. Rolling forward to plank, lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhaling down to a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll lift the left leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, swing that foot forward. Help it if you need to. Rotating that back heel down. We'll inhale the arms up for warrior one. Exhaling them down, coming into your humble warrior. Inhaling them out for warrior two. Straightening that knee, coming forward and then down for triangle. Reaching into your half bind for your triangle. Helping yourself if you need to. Reaching back to your back hand with that front one. Being cognizant of your back, of your front leg being straight. Breathing here. Inhaling back up to warrior two. And from here, we'll rotate down Bring that front foot, kick that front back leg back and come into your warrior three. Again, option to bind here by grabbing your hands behind your back and releasing your fingers, weird thumb on top this time. When you want to release out of that, you can come into your standing split, lifting that back leg up into the air as high as you can and hugging that standing leg, holding onto the back of the thigh. And when you're ready, you can drop that back leg down, kick that front foot back to meet it. Come into your plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhaling up for an upward facing dog or low cobra, and exhaling back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose, whichever is most comfortable for you. All right, and when you're ready, you can hop or step through a forward fold at the front of the mat. On your next inhale, you can gently roll up to stand and release your hands to either side. All right, beautiful. On your next inhale, we'll lift the arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, come into chair pose. Inhale in chair. Exhale to fold forward, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. You're gonna bring that right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Bend your knees, swing your foot forward. Help it if you need to. Remember to release that back heel down. We'll inhale up to warrior one, down to humble warrior. Inhale out to warrior two. Exhale to straighten that knee and come down to triangle and come into your half bind for triangle here. Inhaling back up to warrior two. Exhaling down to side angle. Bringing this top arm down to your hip crease. Coming to your half bind and side angle. Making sure that front knee is at a 90-degree angle. And if you'd like, you can reach that top arm underneath your leg and reach for that hand for your side angle bind. Breathing here. And when you're ready, you can release your hands. And you can rotate your hands to frame that front foot. We'll kick this front foot back to knee to back. Downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank. Lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. Inhaling that left leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhaling, bending that knee, swinging that forward. Rotating that back heel down. We're going to inhale up to warrior one. Exhale down to humble warrior. Inhale out to warrior two. Exhale, come forward and down for triangle. Bringing that half bind, helping it if you need to. On your next inhale, we'll come back to warrior two. Then we'll exhale into side angle pose. Again, rotating this top arm back, helping it reach that hip crease if you need to. And there's your half bind. Option to reach that other arm underneath your thigh, reaching for the hand, grasping the hand for your full bind. When you're ready, you can release your hands. Go ahead and frame that front foot, kick that front foot back to meet the back, downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or child's pose. When you're ready, you can hop or step forward. Turn a forward fold at the front of the mat. When you're ready, you can gently roll up to a stand. Release your hands to either side. We'll do one more. Inhaling your arms into the air, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling to fold forward. Oh. Okay. Inhale, hands on shins, nice long flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Lowering your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Exhale, swing that foot forward, help it if you need to. From here, I'm going to try something a bit different. We'll go ahead and rotate so you're nope. Stay forward in your warrior 1 pose. We'll inhale our arms up for warrior 1 and exhale out for warrior 2. From here, I want to come into bound triangle and do a half bind or full bind. Inhaling back out to warrior 2 and exhaling down to side angle. Coming into your bound side angle pose. And then release. We're going to heel toe the back foot up. We're going to feel, do this. All right, what we'll do is we will heel toe the feet together and we'll come into a squat, whatever that means to you. Your feet can be wide apart, they can be close together. But we're going to come into a bind with our squat. So if it helps you to maybe have a bit of a support under your heel, like a blanket or a block, go ahead and do that. We'll take our right hand, place it in the hip crease behind us. And we can open up our shoulder that way. You can place this arm underneath and reach for your hand under your leg, or you can just reach on the outside of the knee for that hand. So you're basically kind of hugging your knee, but backwards. Yeah. Go ahead and release your hands, either side. We'll go ahead and try the other way, bringing that opposite hand to the opposite hip crease, and then hugging the front of the knee, reaching for that other hand. When you're ready, you can release. You can bring that bum into the air, remove any props you may have, and come back to a plank pose on your mat. Go ahead and lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra, and exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. From here, we'll lift that left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Bend that knee, exhale, help it if you need to. Rotate that back heel down. We're gonna come inhale up into warrior one. Exhale out into warrior two. Inhale to come forward and down to triangle. Exhale to bind and triangle. Inhale to come back to warrior two. Exhale to come into side angle pose. Breathing in side angle. You can exhale to come into your bind, either half or full. Breathing here. When you're ready, you can release your bind. We'll go ahead and bring the feet in again. This time, bring your heels in as close as you can to each other. Come into your squat again this time, but with your feet very close together. Again, give yourself any support you may need. And if you'd like, with your feet together in Malasana, bring one hand back to that hip crease and the other hand to hug forward in your knee. When you're ready, you can release your hands and go for the opposite side. Again, hugging in the front of that knee, reaching for your hand if you can. And when you're ready, release your hands. Come back to your mat. Find yourself in a downward facing dog. Roll to a plank pose. Exhale to lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. Exhale, pushing back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog or low cobra, or child's pose. And when you're ready, you can exhale, hop or step, so you're in a forward fold at the front of the mat. When you're ready, you can gently roll up to stand and release your arms to either side. So for our balance pose today, we're going to try eagle. So we did eagle arms earlier. We did our nice big arms like this. So what we're gonna do is do our eagle arms. So we'll do right arm on top, whichever arm you want on top, cross. Bring your hands, palms of the hands together, back of the hands together. And then whatever arm is on top, take that same leg and cross it over your standing leg. It can cross over once. You can hook that foot back behind you if you're able. Just see if you can balance. Again, if you fall out of it, no big deal. You can always kickstand that toe on the mat, where you just kind of cross once above the knees. Place that toe on the mat, that's fine. Or you can try hooking that foot behind your calf. Again, pull those elbows towards me. Go ahead and release your legs, release your arms. Give yourself a little shake out. We'll do the opposite side. Bringing your opposite arm on top, folding those elbows together, bringing your palms together. And then the opposite leg on top. Again, you can kickstand those toes on the ground, or you can try to bring those toes around the calf. When you're ready, you can release your legs, release your arms, give yourself a little shake out. We'll come back to mountain pose at the front of the mat. Go ahead and inhale your arms up into the air. Exhale down to a forward fold. Inhale your hands on your shins, nice long flat back. Exhale down, plant your hands, step back to a plank pose. Optional vinyasa, lower your knees, chest and chin to the mat. Inhale for a low cobra. And exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. From here, we're gonna lift the right leg into the air. And we're gonna place it outside the hands for a lizard pose. All right. Now, for a lizard, you can do bound lizard, which is actually called flying lizard. So if you'd like to try, we can always lower that back knee down. Bring the opposite hand as knee into the air, reaching for that hip crease or reaching beyond, and lifting this opposite hand underneath to grab your hand under. Now, the reason this is called flying lizard is you can also lift that back heel off the ground, back knee off the ground if you'd like. When you're ready, you can release your hands down to the mat. We'll go ahead and bring the hand, we'll go ahead and kick that foot back. So we're in three-legged dog again. This time we'll bend the knee, bring the shin forward. And before we go down into pigeon, you have the option of doing bound pigeon, which is a lot easier if you have a strap or belt. But instead of bringing our chest forward, what we're gonna do, I need a block for this, is to bring that back leg up. So you can reach for it if you'd like. You can put a strap on it so I can actually reach for it over my head. I should be doing so. This is bound pigeon, obviously a lot easier with a strap. Breathing here if you'd like. You can release wherever you are and go into your true pigeon. And when you're ready, you can lift your head, neck, and chest off the mat. Maneuver yourself into a tabletop pose. Maybe give your hips a little shake out. Tuck those back toes under. We'll lift that left leg up in the air. Bend the knee and bring it forward for lizard pose. And if you're happy here in lizard, you can stay. If you'd like to bring your knee down, like to bring the opposite arm as leg back behind you, reaching for that hip crease. And your other arm forward. And of course, once you've established your bind, your option is to always bring that back leg up off the mat. When you're ready, you can release your arms wherever you are. Press yourself back to downward facing dog. Lift that left leg into the air. Bend the knee, bring the shin forward. Set yourself up any way you can. Make yourself more comfortable. Reach for that back leg if you'd like to feel bound pigeon. Make sure your leg is nice and straight behind you. You don't want that knee going left or right. Wherever you are, you can release that and bring yourself down into pigeon. On your next inhale, you can lift your head, neck, and chest up. Maneuver your knees underneath you. Come into a tabletop pose. Your hips will shake out. Press back to your downward facing dog. Now roll forward to plank and come down onto your mat, laying on your stomach. We'll zip those back legs up. Reach our hands back behind us. Interlace the fingers. Inhale to lift the head, neck, and chest off the mat. Reaching back with the legs, coming into bound locust. Breathing here. You can release down, give your hips a little shake out. Go ahead and reach for the right knee with your right foot. And lift that knee off the mat. Breathing here. Release your foot, reaching for that opposite foot with your opposite hand. Bringing that knee up into the air. Releasing your legs down. Give your hips a little shake out. We'll go ahead and roll onto our back. And set yourself up for an inversion, whatever that means to you. It could be legs up the wall. It could be a supported shoulder stand. You could just place a block under your sacrum and lift your legs in the air if you'd like. You could also grab your shoulders with your hands, right? Your low back with your hands and press up into a supported shoulder stand. Even come into a plow if you'd like and bring those feet and knees over your top of your head. You're ready, you can come back to the mat and we're going to come into some bridge poses. You can come into active or passive bridges. Restorative rather. Restorative bridge is just a block underneath your hips. For our active bridges, go ahead and heel toe your feet so they're about hips width distance apart. Reach for your heels, you can just about touch them with your fingertips. And when you're ready, you can lift your hips off the mat and reach that chest towards your chin. Option to wiggle your arms underneath you and interlace your fingers back behind you. 3 to 5 good breaths. Then release your hands, release your shoulders, release your spine back down to the mat. Give your shoulders a little windshield wiper and back and forth. And when you're ready, you can come back to stillness and lift your hips into the air for your second bridge. 3 to 5 good breaths in bridge. When you're ready, you can release your hands, release your shoulders, release your spine down to the mat. You can windshield wiper your legs back and forth. And when you're ready, you can come into your final bridge pose. Go ahead and release your spine back to the mat. We'll give the legs a little shake up and we'll windshield wiper action side to side. From here, we'll go ahead and hug the right leg into the chest. Go ahead and release that left leg down. Flex the foot, and we'll bring the right knee over across the body, keeping those hips on the mat. Move that knee across the body. See if you can grab your thumb and hook into that hip, and just kind of pull your knee and your hip away from each other. And when you're ready, you can release that knee down. You can go ahead and let go of it. You can come up on one hip, whatever that means to you. You can place one hand on top of it if you feel yourself rocking back and forth. When you're ready, come back to center, hug that knee into your chest nice and tight. Reach for your big toe, the interior of your foot or your ankle or your calf. And we're just gonna do a reclined kind of leg out pose. You can always grab the big toe, keep the knee bent, and then unbend it as far as you're comfortable. And when you're ready, we'll hug both knees into the chest nice and tight. And we'll extend that right leg out, hugging that left leg nice and tight. Again, from here, just bring that knee across the body, lift, keeping both hips relatively close to the mat. If that left hip pops up a little bit, no big deal. You can always take that thumb of that left hand and bring that hip down while you're pulling your knee across. Find length in that top of that thigh muscle. When you're ready, you can exhale that knee all the way down. Both your hip can come off the ground if you'd like. When you're ready, we'll hug both knees into your chest again, nice and tight. And we'll go ahead and drop the knees to one side, coming into a nice gentle twist. On your next inhale, you can come back to center, hug those knees into the chest nice and tight. And then exhale to the other side. Sorry, clump. When you're ready, you can come back to center. And just reach for the interior of your feet and come into a nice happy baby. When you're in your happy baby, you can practice maybe bringing one leg out to the side, maybe the other. If you're pressing those knees into your elbows, maybe just rocking side to side. If you're ready, you can release your feet, place your feet on the mat, knees bent. Go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. In fact, bring those legs up again like you were sitting before, with the soles of your feet together and your hands gripping your legs. From here, you can experiment at bringing your heels closer to your thighs or further away from your thighs. But keeping those feet together and the distance you're comfortable with away from your thighs, go ahead and release your feet with your hands and release them back down the mat. So you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined goddess pose. You can always bring your hands to support underneath your thighs or blocks to your knees. I'm just going to breathe here for a moment. When you're ready, you can release your legs down and come into your final resting pose. Take a moment to visualize all your hard work melting into your muscles and bones. Maybe as your hard work melts in through the top, all the soreness, the stuckness, the pain melts away underneath you. You can begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. You can make small movements in your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you can roll onto one side, using your arm as a pillow, and take one breath in the fetal position. And then using that same slow quality of movement, go ahead and come up to a comfortable seat. When you're ready, we'll bring our hands to heart center. Give yourself a moment and thank yourself for coming to yoga and doing something for you. When you're ready, we'll close with one Om. Inhale for Om. Om. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings be free from suffering. Namaste.